So I've been seeing these produce shirts everywhere, like these lime shirts, and I'm gonna show you how we can make one just like this in Kittl. Also, Drew's not around right now, so I'm taking over today. So we're gonna jump in. I created a new canvas, hit T to start a new text block, and I'm gonna use lemons instead of limes. And I knew I wanted a nice serif font, but not something too dainty, so I went with Mogan. I also like to add a stroke around my text just to beef it up a little bit. So I'm gonna go into my effects panel, make sure the offset and the angle is off, and make sure that the color matches the actual color of the text, and then turn the outline width up a little bit until it looks good. Then I'm gonna go into my photos panel. This is connected to Unsplash, and I'm gonna type in lemons and find something that doesn't look too obstructed. Nice clean background, nice clean break around the object so that the background remover doesn't have any trouble getting a clean break from the image to the background. So I went with this image, and then I kind of foresaw that maybe arranging this would be an issue. So I took this and I cropped it to one grouping and then duplicated it and then cropped the other half until I had two separate pieces that I could arrange, and it might be a little bit easier going forward. So after a couple minutes of playing around with it, this is what I ended up with. I'm gonna hit T again here to add another text block, and I went for Cal Sans. It's just a super clean sans serif font, pretty good for a lot of different styles. Made it a little smaller and left justified it. I did have a text block ready to go in my notes that I knew I was going to use for this project, so I just copied and pasted that in. Played with the text box spacing a little bit, as well as added the same stroke from the lemons text block to this, just to get that nice weighty ink bleed feel that I feel like looks super nice on a lot of designs, especially print pieces, t-shirts, and merch, which is what we're working on right now. So I'm gonna rotate this just to make it a little bit more fun, less stagnant than the straight text block, and put it behind the lemons just to create some depth. I duplicated this, made it a bit smaller, and played with the justification here because I want it to fill that bottom right space just to even out the design a little bit. So I'm gonna right justify that, rotate it, and put it down in the bottom right corner. Again, I had some notes ready and copy and pasted that in. I wanted to have a nice yellow color, similar to the lemons, something that was bright but not too bright to where if you printed it on white that you couldn't see it. So I'm gonna add that same stroke to this here so that it doesn't look too dainty in comparison to everything else. Now we're gonna go into texture, just because I feel like this could use a little texture, a little character, and I really love photocopy textures, so I'm gonna cycle through these and see what looks right. I've had success with this one. It's a little bit too abrasive. I'm gonna leave it on color burn and just bring the opacity down until it looks right. About halfway, 50%, looks super nice. And the last thing that we're gonna do here is make sure that we clip content so that the texture is just on the design that we made and not on the background, and then we are ready to mock it up. Over to the mock-up editor, I found a nice flat lay t-shirt with some character. I'm gonna select my design and size it up. And then place it in the center, and it is just as easy as that. Now this type of design is super easy to replicate with any other produce like oranges, limes, pears, if you're into pears. And if this was helpful, let me know by clicking that thumbs up and hitting that red subscribe button. And comment below if you want to see me take over the channel again.
Bro, get